But to start us off, the Bucks picking up steam. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games, and they're currently sitting at fifth in the East. And it's just been a revelation for them because, like we mentioned earlier, they started off the season so poorly. I want to start with talking about Giannis and Dame because obviously that's the two best players on the team. Everything starts and finishes with them. They have been the highest scoring duo this season, currently at 58.5 points per game. And between the two of them, over their last 10 games, especially Giannis, he's been having an MVP level season. He's averaging a career high in points at 33.5, 10.6 rebounds, and 7.9 assists, so basically 8. And then Dame in the last 10 games has been around 24 points and 8 assists. So I just think the two of them have gotten better at playing off of one another, and that just comes with the familiarity and the consistency as because this is their second season together. But Dame has also improved a bit defensively. And now the numbers don't exactly show it, but I have watched a couple of their games, especially that slaughter fest against the Pistons a couple of days ago. And he just has been trying harder. Like he tries harder to get over screens. He's being more attentive off ball and just doing little things like more so. Because in the past, he just die on every screen. He just give up on plays, and it's exciting to see. And then on Brook Lopez, he's also been assisting them. He's shooting 45.6% from three and averaging 2.7 blocks. So it's just a great complementary piece with Giannis, great at stretching the floor, great at protecting the rim. And he allows Giannis to kind of roam and play free safety for their defense. But Brett, I'm going to kind of open it up to you. What have you noticed in this win streak, and kind of how have you felt about their play as of late?
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I think honestly, it's been an effort thing, and I think you'll see that consistently among some teams that are struggling and some teams that aren't. Right? Like I feel like on the contrarian end, you got the Lakers, and I feel like a lot of their struggles are due right now because of a lack of effort. So I think that's really it has to do with coaching, but also has to do with player buy-in. I think the Bucks have finally realized that if they sink now, that they're going to be out of playoff contention, so that they have to really start playing as hard as they can if they want to make a run. And obviously, you don't want to waste the rest of what you have of Damian Lillard's prime. And like you said, he's trying harder probably because he knows that this is his last chance. Really, in my opinion, like this last stretch of his career is his last chance at a ring. So he's going to want to go out there and play with 110% every time he's on the court. And I think I really can respect that, admire that about them, and I think that. Doc Rivers is also probably isn't as bad of a coach as everybody says he is. Like, oh yeah, bro, he's be holding on to that ring, that one ring that he won. Like, I mean, like,
40
yeah, to
years
an
ago.
extent, to an extent, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hear people when I say that for sure, but at the end of the day, bro does have like 20 years of experience in the league. I think he knows what he's talking about, at least to a degree. If people and if front offices keep wanting to hire him, so hopefully he's instilled some confidence into into his leaders and Giannis and Dame over there, and they could even get a resurgence once Chris Middleton hopefully gets back into the lineup soon.
Well said. Well said. I'm going to kind of break it down a little bit on both ends, how they've been changing and kind of what's been different for the Bucks. So on the defensive end, they've been about the same as far as defensive rating. And defensive rating is essentially how many points are allowed per 100 possessions. So for the season, they're sitting at 113.2 points per possession. Well, not per possession, per game. So that's how they're allowing about 113.2 points. And then over the last 10 games, they've been at about 113.5. So they've actually gotten, according to the numbers, the eye test, they've definitely improved. But according to the numbers, they've gotten a little worse on the defensive end. But I don't really. I think their defense has improved, and I think this has come from them playing their young guys a little more, like guys like AJ Green, Andre Jackson. Yes, they aren't rookies, but they're definitely the most youth that they have on the roster. And you need guys out there who are willing to, run and jump around and just be young and athletic and energetic. It helps to energize, especially when you have an older team. Like Dame is up there in age, Brook Lopez is up there in age, Giannis is getting there. Like
Yeah,
he's still in his prime, but they're not.
they can't all run the floor 40 minutes a night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're not young spring chickens, as you said, like that. You need some of that energy and that boost. So I think that's helped a lot. And I also just think, like you said, it's been effort. Like guys are just trying harder. Like I think starting the season like that kind of woke them up, especially Giannis and Brook Lopez. They weren't playing that well defensively at the beginning of the year, and they've kind of turned it up to another level, back to that like championship level that we saw years ago. Especially Brook Lopez, 2.7 blocks per game, along with his
Yeah, that's
shooting has
nuts.
just been
Especially at his age, isn't he like
yeah
37 or something like
yeah
that? Like he's
he's
pretty
up
old.
there. The man's a dinosaur. But that's been on the defensive end. Some of my takes from that, and then on the offensive end, this is where that I feel like they've really seen their big jump. So as far as their offensive rating, over the season, they're at about 114.4, but over their last 10 games, they moved up to 119.6. So this is a major jump, 5 points per game added to that. And I think this has come from a couple of factors. I mentioned this earlier, but Giannis and Dame are just getting better at playing off of one another. And you kind of see that. Like Giannis is able to cut more when Dame's off ball. Like he's just learning how to utilize each other's gravity to make each other better. Because I felt like last season, Giannis didn't really make Dame better. Dame helped Giannis, get him easier looks, but wasn't the other way around. I feel like that's different this year. And then one other thing is Giannis's mid range. He has developed a mid range shot this year, which he has not had in years past, and he's kind of cut his 3 point volume down to like very very minimal. This season, he's shooting 47.5% from mid range, which is well above the league average. And for example, for comparison, last season he was at about 35.1%, so 12% increase. That's pretty well and pretty significant. So I think that has been kind of the driving factor behind it on both sides. But I'm going to pose this question to you because, as some of you may know or may not know, Chris Middleton is returning Friday from his long overdue hiatus against the Celtics. And Brett, how do you think him coming back is going to influence the team? Do you think it'll help? Do you think it's going to be some growing pains? Like, what do you think about that?
I think initially when he's first inserted into the lineup, there will probably be some growing pains because, as you know, he's missed a lot of time due to his injuries. You know, he's pushing 33. In 2022, 2023, he only played 33 games, and last season he only played 55. So, you know what I'm saying? He's played basically barely over half last season and less than half the season before. But when he's healthy, he's very productive. You know what I'm saying? Great third option guy. He averaged 15 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds basically when he was playing last year. And
He was great in the playoffs, though, I
yeah,
will say.
exactly. Yeah, when Giannis was out, he averaged 24.7 points, 9.2 rebounds, and 4.7 assists in the series against the Pacers. So he was phenomenal in that series and definitely capable of kind of alleviating some of the scoring pressure from Dame and Giannis. So yeah, I think all in all, it will be like a plus, but there may be some initial growing pains, kind of inserting him back into the lineup and sharing the ball amongst the three of them a little bit more because he does take a little bit more volume than like the other role players that are kind of inserted into his place right now.
I kind of am on the same boat as you. I think it's a good time for him to come back though, while they're clicking on all cylinders and starting to find their groove. I don't think he's a hard piece to kind of insert because he's not a super ball dominant guy. Like he can, I think he'll help with their bench lineups too because you can have some type of lineup where you leave one of the three of them out there. But I think it'll take time because you're coming back from a major injury, and he's a little bit older. So, but I think now is a good time, a good point in their season for him to return. If I had to, cherry pick.